Hello, YouTubers, and welcome back to another episode of the Grandstand here on the Hot Patriot Network YouTube channel. I'm, as always, your host, Taylor Hot Patriot, and for today's episode, we are going to discuss why abolishment of various governments might be the only solution at this point in history. This obviously is continuation to 74, where for some reason, I don't know what was going on there, but my video wasn't responding for some reason there. So anyway, but yeah, as I was saying, during 274, this chick that I was hanging out with years ago, we were doing the 2A Sanctuary stuff back in 2019 there. She has, I don't know if she is taking the jabs at this point or what the hell's going on, but yeah, it seems like her mindset has changed. And of course, she's accusing people like Casey Putsch now of being a neo-Nazi with no real evidence of that stuff out of the. And like the only evidence she really gave me was like, "Oh, go watch a Tucker Carlson interview with him," and I'm just like, "Is that your proof? You're gonna like? Why wouldn't you just give me the clip of it?" Like, and that's the thing, right? Like, I just want to know what people do. It's like it really does show like the laziness people on the cases, because it's like, if you're gonna tell me to do something, maybe just, I don't know, find the stuff for me and provide me a link to it, then if that be the case, or even just post a clip of the stuff, you know, because I'm sure the people that have clipped it out there is what it is, dude. Or even just take, like, you can literally take a clip from someone else's video there, clip it out, and then put it to your own channel, and it basically gets uploaded in like a minute or two as what it is there, and you can just send me that clip as what it is then. So, or we just give me a timestamp video and stuff like that if you really want me to believe this bullshit. Because the thing is, like, I honestly don't really care at this point, honestly, dude. And the thing is, like, criticizing something, which is what my understanding is what Casey was actually doing with Israel and stuff like that, what it is there, specifically Netanyahu and company there. That is not anti-Semitism. It's not neo-Nazism. And if you think it is, you're a fucking idiot, is what it is, dude, for real. And I have no problem saying that about these people. It is what it is, because, you know, when you're doing all kinds of general jackassery is what it is. And then you wonder why people are like, you just sound like an idiot, basically. Like, yeah, it's just stupid nonsense what it is, dude. And it's like, when you have these same individuals who are, you know, basically pushing Trump's bullshit constantly and acting like the man can do no wrong when he's literally doing blasphemous shit recently with the whole AI Jesus photo and stuff like that, and then falsely claiming like it wasn't that thing, instead of just being like, "Sorry, I fucked up. My bad." Like, that's all the man would have had to say, honestly, dude, for real. So, like, it wouldn't have been that hard, man. Like, you could have just been like, "Yeah, I get it, I fucked up, sorry," and then moved on from there. But that's my biggest gripe, honestly, with Donald Trump in general, dude, is what it is that the dude is such a narcissistic motherfucker, is what it is, that he believes he can do no wrong, is what it is, dude. And wants to act like he is like the third coming, essentially, of Jesus Christ at this point, honestly. So, when we haven't even had a second coming, for that matter, of the real Christ, is what it is, man. But anyway. So, yeah, I don't know. I'm just sick and tired of, like I said in 273 last night, I'm just sick and tired of being basically ruled over by greedy men and women, for that matter, who don't give a fuck about anything except for their own greed and enriching themselves, what it is there, dude. So, I forget what the direct Sons of Wiener quote was. I can't remember offhand, obviously, but I have to look it up again now, so it would be then. But yeah, about greedy men who believe in nothing, essentially. And that's the thing, like, I don't believe that people believe in nothing. I believe that they believe in something. It's just that something just happens to be enriching themselves, is what it is in most cases. And the same thing with women, for that matter, too. On the top of that is what it is there. So, you know, and like that's what I'm saying. Like I don't understand how. I don't know. I mean, I feel like if I'm gonna vote someone into power, is what it is, dude. It's gonna be an everyman type that actually, you know, at least has like a similar kind of deal to me is what it is there, man. Where it's like, I don't really care if they're white or another race for that matter, anyway, dude. But the whole point is like, if I'm gonna vote for someone, I'm not gonna vote for some out of touch billionaire piece of shit in general who's already committed a billion fucking crimes as it is right now, dude. Like people like Vivica Hazel is there. I'm gonna sit there and I'm gonna vote for a guy who actually seems to give a shit and want the state to be a livable state again is what it is there, dude. And like that's the problem I think when it comes to this chick I was talking about earlier in the last episode, and then everything else for that matter. It's like you have these people that are like, no, I'm gonna vote for this fucking establishment ass clown is what it is, and then they wonder why their taxes go up by like, you know, 50% or something like that in the next 6 months or something. And it's like, I fucking told you so, you know. Or I guess technically about a year or so now. But it's like you try to warn them about their own future detriment is what it is there, and they just don't listen to you. And then when they finally do wake up and realize it, it's like, you know, it's kind of like I told you so, but it's at that point you're just like, you know, is it even worth it to call them out on that one is what it is there or not? Because it'd just be more frustration and stuff like that. I understand, you know. Like having these conversations with so many of these chicks anymore, dude, like I totally get why I'm single at this point at 41. And it's because I'm just sick and tired of the bullshit, you know. And I think that's why a lot of guys my age are also single for that matter, is because we've just had it frustration wise with so many of these women as it is, man, where it's basically like, what's even the point if it's just going to be, you know, this constant stupidity and circling of idiocy at the end of the day and midwinter and stuff like that is what it is. And it's like when we could just as easily, you know, have a peaceful transition of power here is what it is in this nation back to our founding documents and go from there is what it is, and actually have good people in positions of power against what it is then. You know, like here's the real talk, dude. Do I believe that Vivek, Acton, or Poach are the right person for the governorship right now? No, I don't. However, out of those three choices, who's the best candidate right now that potentially could be governor? I believe it's Casey Poach, honestly, dude. I believe he's the only one that's not going to straight up fuck me in the ass is what it is there, dude, when it comes to everything at this point, honestly. So it's like, yeah, why wouldn't I back this dude? So, you know, like I'm sure she's not going to back a billionaire or some fucking woman that put me into lockdowns, who both of which should both be in federal prison right now is what it is for crimes against humanity currently is what it is there, dude. Both of which being Vivek Ramaswamy and Amy Acton. Their actions directly led to my mother's death right now is what it is. So why would I ever let these fuckers take power ever in the state? So, you know, it's just nonsense is what it is, dude. But anyway, I don't know anymore, man. I think it's just a futile effort at this point, honestly. Like I said, I don't believe we're ever voting our way out of this shit anymore, dude. I think it's just going to be a situation where it's going to take like a major shakeup, and I think honestly that major shakeup is coming. Whether that means it's going to be, like I said in the past several episodes, whether we see some kind of crazy Islamic sleeper cell activation come July and we end up having like another 9/11 on the 250th anniversary kind of situation there is what it is for our anniversary of this country, it'll be then. And you just have like some crazy terror attack going on that's maybe like days long, if not like weeks long for that matter. Like some October 7th style attacks that is there. Or whether it be people actually get their shit together in the next month and a half and start dealing with this stuff correctly, and we start actually putting forward what needs to be put forward and making this nation better for Americans than it is, dude. I also want to point out the fact that obviously when you go back into history, it was roughly about almost ago now. It would have been I believe July, August of 2025. There's what it was, where you had the attack happening in Cincinnati downtown, where it was a bunch of white people getting jumped by all those black people. Is what it was there, and it was in a couple of days of that. That was when Vivek started to run for governor, obviously back then, about a year ago now. And you had him do the town hall, but he never actually called out the problem, which was you had a bunch of black supremacists attacking white people down there is what it was, dude. But he refused to call out the race issue going on, not only with that attack specifically, but also literally every other crime going on in downtown Cincinnati. That's what it was. And yet, meanwhile, when you look at what's happening now with our society currently, we not only have all that stuff going on, you also have everything in between happening too, where it is quite literally what was I going to say then? Yeah, where you have quite literally just Islam takeovers everywhere. You have India takeovers everywhere. You have just all kinds of crazy, crazy shit there is what it is, dude. So people are talking about California governor's race here too, for that matter. I do want to point something out with that whole thing, because obviously you had Eric Sowell have to drop out yesterday because of all the scandalous shit going on with his ass. So yeah, you got voting for California governor begins in a month. Here are candidates running. Remember this jackass at the top there? He was one of the Democrats that was running back in 2020, I believe is what it was. And you got this stupid bitch Katie Porter who's been thrown out of this race already for the shit she's pulled. She should be another one of these people that are in the prison system right now, is what it is, for doing various insider trading in Congress, what it is there, dude. Then you got that Berea guy, who is the current AG of California, who should be in prison for breaking up laws, what it is, for all the anti-gun shit he's put there in California. So yeah, we got Chad Benico, who's a Republican. You got Steve Hilton, who's another Republican. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, those are the top two guys right now, or at least they were a couple months ago in the race. And you got Katie Porter, Democrat, Tom Steyer, Democrat, Matt Mahan, a Democrat, Betty Yee, another Democrat, and then Xander Barrera, another Democrat, as well as Antonio Villa. Yeah, so it's Villa Rogia, I think is that pronounced person's name, who apparently was elected the LA mayor in 2014. So you got another Democrat named Tony Thurmond. It seems like that's it, honestly. So yeah, way too many jackass Democrats, I'll tell you that right now, dude, honestly. So, but anyway, I don't know anymore, man. It's all a bunch of stupid bullshit when it's all said and done. And like I said, I think most of us are just sick and tired of all of it right now, dude. And we understand that the only real solution is abolition and abolishing various governments is what it is there. Getting rid of the corruption completely and then starting fresh from the ground up is what it would be then. And until that happens, nothing's really going to change. It's all going to be a bunch of stupid bullshit. It's all going to be futility. And I kind of understand the people that, that don't vote, but at the same time, it's like, if you don't vote at all, like, that's how your state becomes just a hellhole, is what it is, dude. So, like, at least you can sort of save some states as what it is through, like, some voting. I'm not saying every single state, obviously. I'm not saying you shouldn't do, like, serious research on the candidates. And that's what bothers me the most, honestly, too, for that matter. It's like, people like myself will sit there and we'll politically deep dive like a motherfucker, and we'll sit there and do, like hours long research on every single candidate, every single issue, stuff like that. Understanding that, yes, this is the thing that needs to pass. These people need to get into power, et cetera, et cetera. These are the incumbents that need to get voted the fuck out, is what it is there. And you got 10 dipshits that walk in who are first time voters at the age of 18, 19, 20, whatever it is there. They've done zero research at all or anything, dude. They're just basically told, vote down ticket or whatever the case may be. They just pick the worst possible candidates, worst possible choices for the ballot issues and stuff like that, what it is there. And it's like, Jesus fucking Christ, dude. Like, what's even the point? They just completely, you have the first one, do away with your vote is what it is at that point. And they have the other 9 fuck you over completely is what it is then. Because they all voted the same dumbass way is what it is. So, and that's another thing people don't realize, dude. Like, going back to what I was talking about in the last episode with the whole race thing is what it is there, and the tribalistic thing and things like that, what it is. You will have these people of Somali descent, of Indian descent, of various Arabic descents and stuff like that. They'll lockstep together as a voter block is what it is, dude. And they'll look out for their own, look out for themselves first is what it is, dude. But yet, God forbid, white people do that stuff. So I don't know. It's just a sad situation all the way around. But yeah, we'll see if anything happens between anything more goes on between me and that chick is what it is there, dude. So apparently the same piece of shit who is responsible for Virginia's anti-gun garbage there is now trying to run for Congress is what it is. Being this fucking scumbagger from Bangladesh. Which again, that's what I don't understand, dude. Like, how in the fuck are you even allowed to hold office in this country if you are a foreign national or the child of a foreign national? Like, that should be the 2 things that are completely null and void out the fucking window at that point, dude. Like, unless you can legit prove your loyalty to America, you should never be allowed to run for office in this country, dude. So, but yeah, I guarantee if we put a moratorium on every immigration into this country, we would be so much better off as what it is, dude. I'm gonna pull up this this picture here in a second because it's very much like it reminds me of a different meme, but it's very similar to that meme, and it kind of goes back to the whole oppression thing where it looks like the person's getting beat down or whatever the case be, but it's actually just them beating themselves down is what it is. So this particular one was supposed to be a Handmaid's Tale with a boot on the head, and then of course it's them holding a boot on their own head. It kind of reminds me of the other one with the kid where it's like a different kind of boot, and it's like, it looks like somebody's like, stepping on their head or whatever the case being. It's just them with their hand in the boot essentially. So it's like what happened the other day with Serena Hernandez, where you had all those Antifa types attack her and stuff like that. And you had the one stupid bitch trying to claim that she was the victim after the fact. And it's like, no, you were 100% the aggressor. You were the first one that swung hands, bitch. Sabrina was just there doing investigative journalism stuff. And speaking of investigative journalism, I guess apparently the state of California now, a bunch of Democrats there, from Nick Surley going there and showing their Medicaid fraud and everything else like that going on in that state. A bunch of these Democrats that are benefiting from it are now trying to basically make a Nick Surley act to ban investigative journalism in the state of California. It's like, yeah, pretty sure you can't do that, motherfuckers, because it's literally a First Amendment, freedom of speech and freedom of the press and freedom of expression all rolled into one thing at that point. So, like, dude has the right to go there and freely express himself and have the freedom of the press to expose the fraud and embezzlement and everything else like that there. So, but yeah, it's the whole thing though. So, I don't know, man. I'm just sick and tired of all of this, man. And I think everybody else is too, for that matter. And I think people need to realize and wake up, like, most of us don't want foreigners to control our lives at this point, dude. We don't want to see them import the fucking third world they came from, or their parents came from, into our first world nation and make us an even lower trust society than what it is, dude. We want to be a high trust homogenous society is what it is there. Where we can actually walk down the damn street in the middle of the night and not have it be, worrying about 10 guys coming out and jumping us and killing us is what it is there. Or God forbid we want to go into a Walmart or a Target or any place else like that that's a major shop and go and buy something. We want to be able to actually pick out the shelves ourselves and not have to fucking go get an attendant to take it from a plexiglass case that's behind now and put it in a little plexiglass box before you buy the shit. Because a bunch of assholes are stealing those fucking items, is what it is there. Just ridiculous and unnecessary, dude. So, and that's the thing. I know in our founding fathers' day, like, a lot of the shit would have been dealt with already, dude, because we would have just killed these fucking people, is what it is then. Like, you would have had them literally building gallows back then and just hanging people from them, is what it is then. And honestly, at this point, that might be the solution that we need to do again right now, is what it is, dude. Because at least it would take care of a fucking problem at this point, honestly, dude. Like, I know back in the Robin Hood days and stuff like that, like that was back when you had like the actual king dictatorships and stuff like that back in them days, where it was like, if you kill a deer in the king's forest and stuff like that, you usually got hanged, is what it was, dude. Or you were usually hung for it, is what it was there. And if you weren't hung, you were minimum losing your hand, is what it was then. So, which, I mean, nowadays, like, digit loss laws would be a solution to a lot of problems right now, dude. You catch some motherfucker stealing, you just pull out a pair of shears and just lob a fucking finger off, and it's, call it a day is what it is then. And I guarantee they ain't doing that shit again. And if they are, they're going to lose another digit, what it is then. Like, that's the problem, dude. Too many Americans have gone too soft in the last, like, century or so, give or take. It's time for us to be brutal as fuck again, dude. Like, that's the thing. You look at world history, dude, like, there was so much conquering across the world from people that make up America now is what it is. Specifically, the white people make up America right now is what it is. Like, we basically conquered and made empires, bro. We rose empires and we felled empires. And now you got so much shit in our water supply and everything else like that it makes sense why you have so many of these guys being all feminized and stuff like that now. I think they're women and stuff. I was actually watching a little video this morning, actually, before I started the first stream here. And it was this chick who was talking about it. And she was discussing how, I guess there's been a lot of testing recently in a bunch of different watersheds across America. And every single one of them has now tested positive for trace amounts of various SSRI drugs and other, like, so it'd be like antidepressants and stuff like that, essentially, but also like other stuff like estrogen and stuff like that, what it is there too. Like estrogen mimicker specifically is one of the ones that were in there, which makes sense because when you look at especially major cities in this country, every major city pretty much does not have fresh water being brought into it. They have a bunch of water treatment plants in there that filter out the basic shit, the top level essentially. That's like the cheapest way to filter it there and make it drinkable again. They don't actually go further in there and take out the rest of the different particles of shit. So yeah, of course you're gonna have 1 million women and men for that matter in a city who are on antidepressants. And, every time they go to the bathroom, they're, shooting that out in their pee is what it is there. Like trace amounts of that shit. Like whether it be Zoloft, Xanax, insert psych drug, there's what it is, dude. or whether it be, various estrogen stuff, or whether it be, anything else for that matter that's, not able to get all the way absorbed by the human body and just, comes out of the human body at that point then. And then, of course, you get all that shit being sent to water treatment plants and not being filtered out properly is what it is there, dude, because they don't want to spend the money to do that, obviously. And then you wonder why you got these kids now that are, you got these young girls that are, 6, 7, 8 years old, already hitting puberty. And you got these young boys now that are like, 13, 14, 15 years old. And they're like barely hitting puberty by then is what it is there. And by the time they do, they already got like, moobs essentially. So, and just to be clear what I'm saying on that one, it'd be like essentially man titties is what it is there. And it's because they're getting the estrogen too, for that matter, is what it is. And so, yeah, it's like there's no wonder, dude, when you got, so much of this crap in our water supply and everything else like that, not to mention everything that they're putting in the food supply too, for that matter, with the various processing of various foods and stuff like that. And then adding in all kinds of addictive chemicals and things like that. It's like, yeah, when you add all that together, dude, it's like, of course, you're going to have generation after generation of insane people is what it is there. And it seems like with every generation passing now, it seems like everybody has less empathy than the last generation. Or in a lot of cases, if they actually do have empathy of any kind, it's like suicidal empathy for like, oh, let's import like our future death into this country by importing like Islam and everything else for that matter. And not realizing at some point, it's like, no, you gotta save yourself, bro. Like, there's only enough resources to go around for like this many people that are already here, bro. Like, fuck all them people right there is what it is. They can eat shit and take care of our fucking selves for a while is what it is, dude, for real. So, anyway. I think that's about it for today, though. Probably tomorrow or Thursday. I'll probably do like a 10-minute Slicey Boy episode or something then. And then we'll do like a regular one on Saturdays, what it'll be then. So, but yeah, like I said, I'm just fucking sick of all right now is what it is, dude. I'm sick and tired of watching this country be destroyed from the inside out because of Trojan horses being brought into our nation by the powers that shouldn't be. And then having to have back and forth with people that like clearly don't get it and potentially never will until it's too late. So, which again, I'm not so sure that it's not specifically the woman I was talking about during these entire episodes today. I'm not so sure that she hasn't taken the COVID shots at this point, honestly, dude. So, because if she has, it would actually explain a lot, then is what it is. It would also explain a lot of her health problems in the last couple of years, too, for that matter. So, but, who knows? I doubt she would ever admit it one way or another if I did ask her straight up what it is then. But, yeah, like I said, I'm not going to watch my state get taken down by two fucking scumbag pieces of shit who just want to destroy my nation, who just want to destroy my state from the inside out and make it unlivable for me and everybody else for that matter that actually are American citizens here. So, yeah, if worse comes to worse, it's going to be abolishment of the Ohio State government is what it is then. Which hopefully it doesn't come to that, but I feel like the way things are going right now, it might just come to that, honestly, dude. So, but yeah, something needs to change for sure. And it needs to change real fucking quick. But, of course, damn trains are going through again now. That was a nice thing about yesterday. They didn't really seem to go through too much because it was raining quite a bit. So, I don't know. I got a couple packages supposed to come today. Got some more totes coming in that I can put some more stuff in. That's what it is. Hopefully I can get a lot of stuff done here pretty soon and be able to find another place to move to. That's what it is before too long. But I've been looking off and on. There's not really a whole lot of places to get at right now, unfortunately. And yeah, the few that I have found are just out of my price range, essentially, is what it is there. Because they're just overpriced is what it is. And again, it goes back to everything I talked about before, plus, God forbid you want to live in a safe area, like you're basically paying for that and then some. So it just sucks, bro. Really does. But yeah, I don't know. I guess only time will tell at this point, honestly, dude, what happens. But I'm pretty much ready for anything at this point, honestly, dude. I'm ready for just. I'll be honest with you guys, I'm ready to just fucking go home, is what it is, dude. And you guys know what I mean when I say go home. So. Tired of being broken and feeling like shit daily is what it is. Barely getting any sleep anymore and just dealing with all kinds of bullshit is what it is. Sick and tired of that constant pain, sick and tired of that constant agony. Just really sick and tired of all of it is what it is, man. Sick and tired of feeling like I'm fighting a losing battle at this point, honestly. It's like, what's even the fucking point anymore? So, anyway. Yeah, I don't know anymore, dude. I think it's all just kind of a losing effort anymore is what it is. Until we have true election integrity, nothing's really ever going to change as it is there. But I just say that's never going to happen again until we do a complete abolishment across the board. Now is what it is, dude. So, anyway. But, yeah, I'm going to go vote this week. A couple days here. I'll do that Friday morning, probably. Most likely Friday morning or afternoon. Splice and it'll be. And yes, we will hope. I will be voting for Casey Push, as will some of the other members of the network. Here's what it is. Because you know what? We don't give a fuck, dude. The guy is the only candidate in this entire race that protects 2A rights, or at least that he's going to. I could really give a fuck less what his stance on anything else is for that matter, dude. People want to sit there and talk shit about the guy, they can do that. That's their, First Amendment freedom of speech is what it is there. But, like I said, I'm sure it's not going to let my fucking state become little India is what it is there, dude. And I'll do everything possible to make sure Vivek does not win this primary is what it is then. So, anyway. But, anywho. Actually, I think we'll finish off today by talking about this story momentarily. And it kind of goes back into the big pharma stuff we were talking about a little bit ago there, which is healthy 14-year-old girl dies after Gardasil HPV vaccine. Family files wrongful death lawsuit against Merrick, the maker of the stuff. Yeah, I'm not surprised by that at all, dude. So that's what I'm saying, dude. All this big pharma shit is just garbage, is what it is, dude. So. There was some dude talking about the violence against Sabrina Hernandez there and was like, oh, I'm disgusted by it on both sides. It's like, dude, it was only one side being violent. It was the people that literally try to beat up Sabrina. It's fucking ridiculous. By the way, there's no such thing as political violence. There's just violence, dude. Is what it is. So. Yeah, it's all just violent bullshit, what it is there, dude. like I said, I'm just fucking over all of it, dude. Just over being screwed by everybody constantly. So, oh, that was an interesting one too. For those that didn't hear about that one yet, I'll discuss that one momentarily here. J.B. Pritzker, the governor of Illinois right now, yesterday signed in a law called House Bill 106 that literally allows people to now spread the AIDS virus, specifically HIV. Repeals a 1986 law that made it a felony to knowingly spread HIV through unprotected sex, sharing needles, or donating blood without disclosure. Critics say this put public health at risk. I don't understand like how the fuck this is not considered to be literal bioterrorism at this point, dude. Like that's what's so crazy to me is what it is, dude. Like this motherfucker is literally committing bioterrorism, and yet nobody seems to give a shit at that point. You know, it's just absolutely insane, dude. It's absolutely insane. So. But yeah, I'm just fucking done with it, dude. You're done with all of it, dude. Done with all the fuckery of all this other stupid bullshit. Just everything for that matter. Oh, good God, dude. So apparently there is a group of nuns, Catholic nuns specifically, in New York State who have offered free hospice care for 125 years now. And a couple of years ago, piece of shit Kathy Hochul, after cheating away into the governorship there, signed a law forcing every nursing home to use preferred pronouns, house patients by gender identity, not biological sex, and let people in opposite sex bathrooms and spaces. And now these nuns that make up this Rosary Hill home are having to sue her ass. It's just so ridiculous, is what it is. So. But yeah, I'm just fucking. I'm just over it. I think everybody else is too, for that matter, dude. Or at least, you know, we're just kind of done with everything as it is, dude. So. Apparently, Carr is now trying to turn the Alamo in Texas into an Islamic state. Or sorry, not Islamic state, Islamic site. Fuck that, dude. Like, we are so past the point right now of just like a fucking race-based holy war. Honestly, dude, ain't even funny anymore. So, it really is time to just boot Islam the fuck out of our nation for what it is, man. So, anyway. That's about it for today, though. Hope you guys enjoyed these two different streams I did today, obviously. So, like I said, I'll be back at some point in the next day or two with some other stuff. Most likely Honda will do a chat here in about 10 hours, give or take. So, just depends. Might be 10:05, might be 10:30, something in there, I'm guessing. Eastern Standard Time, obviously. So I'll probably be part of that as long as I'm awake. Then is what it is. But yeah, I'm just, like I said, I'm fucking just over everything as it is, dude. But yeah, just to reiterate though, like, criticizing another country does not make you an anti-Semite, doesn't make you a neo-Nazi, and the people that think it does are fucking idiots is what it is, dude, for real. So, and it really just proves that it doesn't matter if it's left, right, or center, like, the 19th Amendment was a huge fucking mistake in this country's history is what it is. End of story. Till then, I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace out, stay safe, stay vigilant. Always be carrying, especially for the upcoming holidays, because, like I said, I truly do believe if Islamic terrorism in this country does try to pull a sleeper cell attack, it's probably going to be on the 4th of July during the 250th anniversary of the American celebration for our country's big 250. So, and I wouldn't be surprised, honestly, like, looking at it from my own, like, thought process and stuff like that, if I was to see it come to fruition, I would assume it's going to be probably something similar to the Day of Wrath, if that'd be the case. Or it might be like mix of Day of Wrath, but it might be like over the time span of like several days in a row kind of things what it is there. Where it like maybe starts on the 4th of July and then just like goes through like maybe even till the 10th or something like that for that matter. So there's been so many different scenario channels out here on YouTube and stuff like that. And there's social media sites and stuff like that over the last decade or so that have basically, made up their own scenarios and stuff like that of potential things that it could look like and stuff like that. And who's to say it wouldn't be like, start out as like various attacks and then turn into like, some truck bombings or car bombings or something else for that matter. And just make people in constant panic and fear is what it is there, dude. To where we're like cripple this country essentially. Because that's the thing, man, when you start looking into, the possibility of like trucks not running for even a day in this country, we'd be fucked, dude. If it became something where you had like semis having to be shut down for like a day, this country would never recover. You would have the gas pumps going dry within like a day or two after that. You would have shelves going bare around that same time period. Then you would have just mass anarchy and chaos in the streets. Then you would most likely have society break down completely at that point, honestly. And somewhere between 7 to 14 days in, then you would start having cannibalism happen across the board then, which makes logical sense because, when you look at the prediction models from every other nation on Earth right now and how quickly these places had collapsed and stuff like that, then they didn't have the infrastructure we have right now in places what it is, dude. Or the, first world kind of modern conveniences and stuff we have here is what it is then. But there's also so many people that are in this country right now, whether it be even American citizens for that matter, or whether it be all the importations or everything else for that matter is what it is there, dude. And none of these people know how to survive. They have no idea how to fish. They have no idea how to hunt. They have no idea how to cook their own food. They have no idea how to do really anything for that matter. And they would just not survive. Or if they did survive, it would be for like a few days because they're eating somebody else's of this, dude. Literally, it would be like some Haiti shit where you had they called barbecue, who was literally yanking dudes' legs off of a fucking spit and eating some dead guy's leg is what it was there, dude. That was being roasted over open fire there is what it is. Fuck all that shit, dude. So, yeah, I'm just fucking, like I said, I'm just ready to go. I'm gonna finish everything at this point, dude, and be done with it. Just make society better again before it's too late. Unfortunately, I'm not so sure it's already past the point of being too late right now. So it might just be a me speaking of feudal manor is what it is then. I know we're like about 3.5 years right now, give or take, away from the globalist January 2030 reset is what it is there. So would I be surprised if they're just trying to do it like they're doing it right now with putting people like Vivek in place? Is what it is. It wouldn't surprise me at all, honestly, dude. So I don't know. I really wish that RICO Act case against him, Peter T, would obviously go through already. Is what it is then, dude. They could just arrest the scumbag ass out of the entire governor's race completely. Is what it is then. It wouldn't matter after that because you still have Putsch by default being there then, and you have him versus Acton come the fall. Is what it is then. So I don't know. It all just depends. But like I said, I've just kind of had it all right now. Is what it is, dude. And I'm just fucking done with everything right now. So just ready for society to become better off is what it is. I'm not so sure that's ever going to happen right now is what it'll be. So, you know, so be it, I guess. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed this episode. I'll see y'all in the next one. Peace out. Stay safe. Stay vigilant. Be ready for anything. Be situation aware for everything. Because you never know what's going to happen and how quick it's going to happen. And you might just have to be that first responder to take care of business then in the coming months. Till then, I will see you guys sometime later this week for Slicey Boy episode. And then most likely tonight I'll be on Honda's chat around 10 p.m. or so, whenever he starts that up. Maybe I'll talk to him about stuff going on there. If I do hear anything back from this chick I was talking about this whole episode, and the last episode too, if she tries to come back at me, whatever the case be, or unfriend me or something, or that whole thing, which would be stupid, honestly, I'll just do an update there on Honda's chat, so it'll be then. But, you know, it just all depends. I don't know. I think she has a bad take is what it is, dude, for real. And, you know, like I said, this woman, you would think she would want to be putting herself in a position to make this state better, honestly, overall, just because, you know, the fact that she does have a kid that could be drafted into one of these wars in the near future. Like, I don't know, man. I just know if I was in her position, I wouldn't want my fucking son being drafted. And that's like I said before, when it comes to my nephew, dude, I'll never let my nephew get drafted into some bullshit or whatever the case be, especially not for some other country like fucking Israel. So it is there, dude. If Israel wants to go to war with Iran, guess what? They can fight it themselves. They can have their fucking people that are over the age of 18 go fight it for them. They're going to put Americans' lives in danger. We're not going to put American boots on the ground. We're not going to have Americans be the ones to die for some of their fucking bullshit. That's not even our fucking problem is what it is, dude. You know, if Americans are going to die fighting, then they need to be here on U.S. soil, die fighting against actual Islamic terrorism on U.S. soil is what it is then. Not fucking in Iran or some bullshit thing that Israel's all part of is what it is there, dude. So, anyway. But yeah, either way, till later. I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace out, stay safe, and have a good rest of your day. Later.